This treatment has a 70 to 80% success rate. Hi, I'm Alli. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm on my way into Beverly Hills to get TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. At first, I thought it was TMI, too much information, to talk about TMS because I'm getting it for my anxiety. But if I can help someone, that's what it's all about. I spent my whole career helping people, and I'm not about to stop now. I will talk a little bit more about my anxiety later. This is a non-invasive brain treatment used to stimulate nerve cells and chemicals in our brains. It doesn't use radiation. In fact, my technician is pregnant. It helps with depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and smoking cessation. It does help with other disorders as well. I will put them in the description box. I am getting it again for my anxiety. It takes 35 sessions. So I worked as an attorney for 30 years. Anxiety is an occupational hazard if you are going to work as an attorney. I was a trial attorney for about the first 12 years of my career. It was very stressful having people's lives hanging on your performance, so I got very anxious. This treatment has a 70 to 80% success rate. Patients become symptom-free after TMS. It can help with treatment-resistant anxiety and depression with long-lasting results. However, it can vary from person to person. TMS can have minor side effects that don't last, like headaches, tingling, twitching, and lightheadedness. I've had 13 sessions with no side effects. It is FDA approved. It is covered by Medicare and most insurance companies. What's so great about this treatment is it treats your brain right at the site. Unlike pills, which go into your mouth, into your digestive system, through your liver, and then up to your brain. This treats your problem right at the site. But according to the doctor, you should still take your medication. Now, off the subject of TMS, Prime Promedics sent me this Prime Skin CC cream. It's a nice makeup. I love their makeup. It's made for mature skin. You don't have to worry that it's gonna look cakey on mature skin. This stuff is made for us. I love it. It comes in many different colors. They sent me all these different colors to see which one matches my skin. And they also sent me a nice brush too. It's over there. I'm going to go get it. So I'm going to start applying it. So I'm going to take some of this makeup and I'm just going to put a little bit on my hand like that. And what's great about this makeup is it goes on like a liquid, but it dries like a powder. And I love it because It covers large pores. Look at this. Oh, it's so pretty. I, of course, will link this for you. And this brush is great too. It's just the right size. I have nothing on my skin except for my morning treatment, which I will link for you. I have a video on what my morning skin routine is. So as you can see, it's not real creamy because it has dried like a powder. What I like about it too is it doesn't feel heavy. I don't like feeling a heavy foundation on my skin. Okay, so I can use just a little bit of blush, and I'm on my way into Beverly Hills to get another TMS treatment. Okay, so I'm in Beverly Hills, and it's a beautiful day. As you can see, I just parked and going into this mysterious building here. It's kind of an older building in Beverly Hills. Here I am at the New Brain Institute. So I put this stylish cap on, and I have earplugs on. This goes over my head. It's kind of heavy, and it's very loud. It does use magnets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it uses magnets like an MRI. So it sounds like an MRI. That's why I have earplugs in.
Ready?
Yep.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
And this is what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes is listen to this sound. I usually check my emails. That's pretty much it. Now, this machine will work for 3 minutes as well, but me being the super careful person that I am, I said, no, I want to do it for 20 minutes, but starting tomorrow, I'm going to start doing it for 3 minutes, and then I'll do it for 3 minutes for the rest of my therapy. So, but today, I'm going to do it for 20 minutes. So I'm going to sign off and relax a little bit, and I'll come back to you when I'm done with my session. All right, so I'm done with my session today. That was it. Nothing more to say about that. And I'm going to drive home after 15 sessions, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to see the doctor because he is going to remap me. And I think they're going to up the power and blast my brain a little bit more. But I do have to say my anxiety is much better. Even after 13 sessions, I feel so much better. So I'm going to sign off for today, and I will come back to you when I see the doctor. All right? Talk to you then. Hello, everyone. So I'm a little bit more than halfway through with my 35 treatments, and I want to check in with you about where I'm at with my anxiety, and I would say my anxiety is 90% better. I am so thrilled with that. I'm not even done with my course of treatment, so my prayers have been answered. I feel like a new person. I am so happy to be sharing this with you and so thrilled that I decided to share this with you. So today, Dr. Jax, the psychiatrist, is going to remap my brain. I'm going to let him explain what remapping is. So he will be on camera today talking to you about remapping, and I'm going to ask him some more questions about the treatment. I'm back at the New Brain Institute, and I am going to get my brain map today. Here I am. So these are what the helmets look like. I guess you call them helmets. This one is for anxiety and depression, the blue one. And the yellow one's for OCD. And the green one is for smoking. So I'm going to use the blue one. And so let me put the blue one on. And the technician's going to put the blue one on. So I'm talking to Dr. Jax, here he is, about brain mapping. Dr. Jax, what are your credentials?
I'm a fully fledged medical doctor. Actually, I've been a doctor since I was 20. I'm board certified in adult psychiatry and neurology, child and adolescent psychiatry and neurology. I've got a fellowship, which is a national degree, which is a nominated degree in the American Psychiatric Association. I'm a fellow of the American Academy of Child Psychiatry. I've been president of various psychiatric societies, the Child Psychiatry Society, the Adolescent Psychiatry Society, and I'm a prior full clinical professor at USC in the past as well, among other things. I'm a consultant of the Medical Board of California since 1995 as well.
Oh, is that all?
That's most of it. Probably some more.
Teasing you.
Probably some more.
So what are you going to do to my brain today?
We're going to return to normal activities.
Fantastic.
I can give you some simple versions of this, but the point is that they've been doing this in dedicated departments. That means a department where they only study non-invasive brain stimulation at Harvard and Johns Hopkins for 60 years each. I studied at Harvard for this about 12 years ago, and we've been doing this here for about 10 or 12 years. And there's no question about this, that if antidepressants don't work, and it only works for about 60% of people, so about 40% of people are left with either partial response or not full response. This has at least an 80% chance or more of significantly returning your brain to normal activity, that is curing your depression, basically. That's what we're talking about. It's also used for other things as well. Some of those are not FDA approved, like it's used, for example, in stroke patients with depression. It's been used for people who have more complicated conditions. It doesn't fully resolve it, but it's been used in autism as well. But doesn't cure that, it just treats some of the partial effects. I've used it for memory issues with people starting with dementia. Again, that's off-label a little bit. It's also FDA approved, by the way. This machine is FDA approved for OCD.
Right.
Okay, and that's we should have Howie Mandel here. So we should have,
right.
He should know, but I don't know if he knows about this or not. But we could certainly be able to help him if he wanted to do that.
Which do you call these helmets?
Yes.
Which helmet do you use for autism?
We use the same one. Actually, there was an interesting situation. You know, the problem is what this does is it restores normal electrical activity in the brain, in the centers that have to do with depression or other things. There was a famous case. There was a head of Harvard, Behrens and Allen Center for Non-Invasive Brain Stimulation, called Dr. Pascal. And I studied under him about 12 years ago. And he treated an autistic individual. And this individual was married. And all of a sudden, he changed from, it looked like everything in his life was black and white, and now it became like Technicolor. And it was like a new world for him. Here's the problem, though. And this was on radio, and he's been popularized as well. He was married before, and his wife got used to treating him like an object, saying, do this, do that. And he would just, part of autism is passivity. And in some individuals, it's a spectrum, but he was passive. So his wife would tell him to do this, and he would just automatically do it. It's like he didn't have any feelings or reactions to it. Well, he was treated with this, and he felt a lot better for a while, but then he started to object and have feelings and his own ideas about what he wanted to do or not do. So unfortunately, he ended up getting divorced.
Oh, no.
So I don't know how much we helped him with that. But, the point is that we know where the problems with autism and schizophrenia are, but we don't correct bad wiring in the brain. That's the problem.
But you increase the synapses in the brain, correct?
No, we correct. The basic version is, the simple version is, the synapse is the space between the nerves. So we restore the normal neurotransmitters between the synapse, increasing electrical activity and restoring it to normal, frankly. That's what's being done.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm getting this treatment now for 3 minutes. Okay, let's go. Getting my stylish cap put on again. And when I get it for 3 minutes, it makes a little bit of a different sound.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this hair dryer looking piece of equipment over your head. And put that over like this. Okay. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you're going to feel a little tap on your head. That is not metal hitting your head. It's the electromagnetic energy we need to stimulate the part of your brain we're putting it over, which has to do with motor functioning, specifically the motor functioning of your hands. So what we're looking for is a little twitch of your hand. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you'll feel a little twitch. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One, two, three. Make sure we're just in exactly the right place here. Go back a little bit. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. We got some twitch there.
Same. Okay, perfect.
And what I'm speaking to my technician Vanya about is that you can relax now. You don't have to do that anymore. What I'm speaking to Vanya about now is there's 2 ways of doing this with this machine. This is the most expensive equipment because it's got computers with it and so on. The other machines can take up to 45 minutes of this, unless they have computers along with it. This is automatically built into this. It's wider and deeper, but we can switch from 20-minute sessions to 3-minute sessions, and they're just as effective, frankly. When we get a little bit higher in the energy, when the tapping is a little bit more in your head, we switch to 3-minute sessions. And some people think the 3-minute sessions are better because it's more in the natural synchrony of your brain, but we certainly use both involved here. So, and as I mentioned to you before, we do this to begin with, and we do it at 2 weeks. And about 20 or 30% of people start to feel different at 2 weeks. And when they do, that's great. That means we're on the right track. We're definitely stimulating. We just need to keep it on to make sure it gets more permanent and repetitive with you. If it doesn't help you at a couple of weeks, you can still get the full benefit of the treatment. So it's really nice to see, actually. We're really happy to do this. One of the reasons I had to be involved with this is because when I learned about this, I was saying the same things you did. Why are more people doing this? Antidepressants or they got so many side effects, and it's amazing they work at all, but this is amazing stuff when it really works. It's not snake oil. Any doctor who says everything's 100%, I think you should get up and run around there as fast as you can. But this is amazing stuff. We help an awful lot of people with this over the years.
Well, helping people is what it's all about,
Absolutely.
at least with me.
Thank you, Lonnie.
All right, so I'm starting my treatment for the day, and I'm going to sign off. So, hello,
Hello.
Dr. X. This is our exit interview, my exit interview for TMS, correct?
That's correct. And this is routine. I want to find out actually how people have been doing with treatment, whether they need further treatment or further suggestions involved. So we like to do that. Obviously, it's important as well to do that.
Great. So I did the 35 sessions, correct?
That's correct. And how did you do with the treatment?
Oh, I did great. I feel so much better. I feel like I did in college. I just have a newfound freedom, and my tremors are better.
Well, what this does, let me explain something to you as well. What this does is restore normal electrical activity in the brain. So, the particular equipment that I use is the most effective. It's deeper and more widespread. The other equipment is like two donuts put together and in a very narrow little area. And if you move it a grain of rice, it's 30% less effective. This is an H coil, so it's got different prongs on it, and we focus on one area, but it's wider and deeper, frankly. I don't mean to make it like it's a cure-all for everything. This is not snake oil, like we said, but it does restore normal activity in the part of the brain we want to with depression, but also it spreads to other areas and does affect other areas as well. So it's used for things which are not FDA approved, but for tinnitus, for example, ringing in the ears. It's used sometimes for tremor or post-stroke, postpartum depressions as well. So it's not just limited to what the insurance company authorizes it for currently.
And remind my viewers again what the name of the machine is.
Yeah, if you're going to do this, it's called Brainsway equipment, and because that is the best equipment. It's like I said, it's not the one that's as widely used because it's 3 times more expensive. The other equipment is about a third the cost, and I've treated people who have failed on the other equipment, frankly, and been successful with that. And there's a recent article, frankly, scientifically, that finally compared the NeuroStar, which is the most popular one, to the Brainsway, and the Brainsway is clearly twice as effective involved.
Great. Well, I've definitely benefited from the treatment. I would say I feel 99% better.
I want to mention something to you as well. One of the areas we're not absolutely clear about scientifically studied, and we should, is the how can we predict what's going to happen with you? Now, I've had numbers of people who have the treatment, that's it, their life has changed, that's the way it's going to be. But sometimes after 3 or 4 months, there's a little bit dip because, we can't control the vicissitudes in your life. I wish we could control what the fires or other kinds of things happening, like the bumper sticker says stuff happens. So if that does, you're a human being, you're affected by it, and there can be other things in your life that affect you. And so if that happens, please come back for treatment after that. And let me say something to you as well. This is not scientifically studied, but I'm very experienced at doing this. And when I speak to other clinicians who are very experienced the way I am, there are some that are. There's not a lot, but I've been doing this for about 12 years. But when I speak to people who are really experienced with this, what we find is that there's a cumulative effect to this. If you've ever done any weightlifting and your muscles are pumped up a little bit, when you stop doing it, your muscles shrink a little bit. But when you go back to it again, it's not like starting from scratch.
Right.
What happens is the muscles have memory, and your brain seems to have memory too, and there's much more of a cumulative effect. Well, let me give you an example of this, a different example. But I saw a very bright guy who was an accountant, who was in his early 30s several years ago, and he had very deep depression. I treated him, and he was about 50% helped. But I said, I'm greedy. I like a lot more benefit. And he said, I know I'm feeling it. I know this has changed me. So he came back in 4 months, and it was a game changer. I mean, it just, completely changed him. And he's been permanent that way since that time. So that's the way it really should be. So sometimes people do have to come back. And the prognostic factors are not very clear, frankly. So hopefully, nothing personal, but hopefully, I'm sure it's the last time you want to see me.
So when people come back, what is the number of sessions you suggest, and what does insurance pay for the follow-up treatments?
Absolutely, they do. Sure, no question about it. Absolutely,
Okay.
they do. After a certain number of months, they will certainly authorize it again.
And how many number of months is that? And how many treatments do you suggest for follow-ups?
What I like to do is evaluate somebody again, obviously. I mean, sometimes they just need a brief 10 sessions, and sometimes need a full Monty of the sessions again, depending. With you, for example, since you've been helped to such a degree, probably follow up about 10 sessions, I would probably think, is usually my experience with that. If you're helped just a little bit and we need to do it, to get a full benefit, then you need the full 35 sessions again.
So would it be 10 sessions in a row daily?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to tell you something else too. There is a Stanford protocol now. I wish we could do this one time and get this over with, for people. But it is a commitment to come in. But it's only, it's either 3 minutes or 20 minutes. There's a Stanford protocol now in which they have done research. This is not, it's FDA accepted, but it's not insurance accepted yet, where we do the treatments 3 or 4 times a day for a week. And it's got excellent results.
Oh.
And I wish we could do that, get it done in a week. Let's get it over with and get it done. And the effects are dramatic and just as effective.
So so it's 3 or 4 times a day, and then you're done?
3 or 4 times a day for a week. That's right.
Wow.
And the effects, this is from Stanford. I mean, I'm from USC, of course, but I will certainly accept what they do.
Sure.
But they're an excellent school, kidding aside. But they've done research on it. It's very clear. The scientific research has been adequate, controlled, and the results are excellent. They're quite comparable, if not just as good or even better at times.
Interesting.
So I hope that's the future of this as well, that we can do it that way, to get it, to have somebody take off a week, and get this done.
Right. Well, maybe by the time, how updated are these studies, and where are they at with these studies?
Oh, the studies are accepted. No question about that.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah. There's excellent research. I've read the scientific research about it. And there are even some clinicians who practice it, but the people have to, the insurance won't pay for it that way.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem involved. And so it gets to be pricey, if it's just done that way for a week. But certainly, there's no question about the effects being excellent with this.
Mm-hmm. And what is the time difference usually? So I finished this week. It's the middle of May. And when do you usually hear from people again when they come?
We like to keep in touch. I mean, give us a call back. Certainly if things change for you, but certainly just to give us a call, just to let us know how things are going. But after at least 4 months before, I think the insurance companies will reauthorize.
Okay.
And you'll have no problems getting reauthorized because you've had benefits before. If you haven't had enough benefits before, it's a little bit more difficult. But there's no question with yourself that would be very easy to do.
Yeah, I feel so much better. And, one of my main concerns was my tremors. And my tremors have definitely gotten better.
Well, we know what part of the brain is involved with your tremors, actually. So, like I said, frankly, if you would have had another kind of equipment, you wouldn't have had this result.
Really?
As well. Because like I was explaining to you, this is deeper and wider. And so there's an effect not only in the centers where just primarily aiming at, but it spreads throughout the brain, but also affects other parts of your brain as well.
And I think my tremors are anxiety related as well. You know, when I'm anxious, it makes them worse.
Absolutely. The tremors are known to be like that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacks. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
I'm really glad you were helped so much, and it's very gratifying for us to hear that. So, and we hear that a lot, actually. Not, and look, I don't, you know, if you go to any doctor and they say, "What are my chances of getting better?" They say 100%. Get up slowly, turn around, and run out of there as fast as you can.
It's science, right?
But you know, at least we see with people properly selected, 80 or 90% of people have significant dramatic effects.
Fantastic.
I wish more people knew about it, but
well, I'm going to put it on my channel. So, you know, and I have close to 3,000 subscribers now. So 3,000 people will know about it.
Well, listen, I'm very glad to hear that you're feeling better. Stay happy. Stay better.
Okay. Thank you so much. You take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So that's my video. And everybody, please subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.